Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Lara from Complete Test Success here. And today we're focusing on IELTS writing task 2. So whether you're doing academic IELTS or general training IELTS, this lesson is suitable for you. Pretty much the same thing we do every week. So my one-on-one support you can avail of on my course, but these classes are free group classes. So, whoever joins is welcome to participate. I'm going to show you a task 2 question, and together we're going to put together an essay. So you're going to write the various parts of the essay. I'll give you feedback. With that feedback, you will learn what your mistakes are. And of course, by fixing those mistakes, that's how you improve your score. So it's the same thing that I do with the people on my course, obviously with that one-on-one feedback, but show them what to do, get them to try, show them their mistakes. They fix their mistakes, try again, show them new mistakes, and we continue that cycle. Hey, Maribel, good to see you here again. Sroy, welcome to the lesson. Okay, so we may as well get started. The first thing I want you to do is write a paraphrase for the question. So this is the question here. The question says, some people think that the countryside is a better place for children to grow up than a city. So you need to paraphrase that. So change the words you can change, but the most important thing is your paraphrase has the same meaning and that your paraphrase is easy to understand. So, that's the main focus. If you can change the words, then you should. But more important than that is that it has the same meaning and that it's easy to understand. Hi, Matt. Welcome. Hello to you. Welcome to the lesson. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Write the paraphrase, share it with me in the comments, and then I will give you feedback and we'll write the essay on the screen together. And as well as these live streams, I also have free group classes on Zoom each week. So I know most of you already, so you're aware of this, but for the new students here today, so you click on that link in the comments, or you'll find it under the video as well. Sign up and you can join me on Zoom for my free group classes there as well. Okay, so I'll just wait for you all to share your paraphrases with me and then we'll continue. Okay, first one in here from Ahmad. Oh, Ahmad, some people are of the view that raising children in the countryside is much better than in the city. Nice, good, I like it. Okay, so I'm going to take that. That's from Facebook, so let me just find that. And that would be the first sentence of our essay. Let's change people to individuals. Raising children on the countryside is better than in the city. Let's say raising them in the city. make that a little bit clearer. Okay, so perfect. That's the first part of our essay written. Well done, Ahmad. So the next part of our essay is to decide what main ideas we can use. So, what I want you to do is either give me 2 ideas for why someone would agree that the countryside is better, or 2 ideas why someone would disagree that the countryside is better. So either way, it doesn't matter, but either 2 ideas for agreeing or 2 ideas for disagreeing. As always, your ideas have to be relevant and they have to be specific. So those are the 2 requirements. So I want you to share with me in the comments, what ideas do you think we can use? If there are problems with your ideas, I will explain the problems. If your ideas are suitable, we will add them to the screen, and then, we will add them to the essay on screen, and then we'll continue with the next paragraph. Okay, so for now, I'll continue giving feedback on the paraphrases. You take your time to think of the ideas and share them with me when you're ready. Okay, what's new? Some believe that living in the outskirts would not be the countryside. The outskirts are more like on the edge of a city. So still within the suburbs, not in the countryside yet. So getting close to the countryside, but it's not the same meaning. And this is what I meant earlier on, in that, if you can change the word, you should change it. It's a good idea to change the words, but only if it's accurate. So now what you've done is you've changed the meaning of the question. So when somebody reads this, for example, anybody but the examiner, when the examiner reads this, they think the question is about outskirts. They think your essay is about outskirts, but it's not. It's supposed to be about countryside. So the problem here is you've tried to change too much. It would be better for you to copy that phrase, to copy the word countryside from the question. So yes, if you can change it accurately, that's a good thing to do. If you cannot change it accurately, you should copy the question. Okay, so some believe that living in the countryside is better than living in cities for a child's growth. Okay, it's not quite as direct though. Living in the countryside is good for a child's growth. It would be more growing up. So growing up is still more appropriate. Growing up in the countryside is better than growing up in a city. Growing up in cities for a child's growth, for a child's development. So again, you've tried to change too much, and the lack of accuracy then results in changing the meaning, and that's problematic. Hi, Salik. Long time no see. Okay, living in a rural area is thought of as the best option for children by a group of people. Well, with just more by some people. It's not that they're a group. It's not necessarily that they're in a group. They might not know each other. They might not even be aware that they're thinking the same thing. But it's just that this is one opinion that people have. So some people is more appropriate than a group of people. A group of people sounds like they're kind of, standing together, shouting about it or something. While others believe that cities provide more opportunities. Not necessarily, because I might think that the countryside is better, even though cities provide more opportunities. So we might all agree that cities provide more opportunities, but what we're disagreeing on is which is the best place. So again, that paraphrase by saying more opportunities instead of saying a better place, that's not accurate. So that's not the same meaning. So you've changed the meaning. So whereas what's new, or the same problem, change the vocab and change the meaning. So both of them are clear, but the meaning isn't the same as the question. So that's a problem. Hi, Jabed. Sally, good. Sharel, in comparison to raising children in big metropolitans, no, it's not necessarily a big metropolitan. It could be a small city. So we're not saying the difference between living in a big city and the countryside, or a big city and a small city. We're just saying any city. So any city and the countryside. So you've changed the meaning here again. Children growing up in the countryside have less exposure to different cultures and varied norms of life. Okay, so this is your main idea. Okay. So less exposure to different cultures, I can see that. Okay, and varied norms of life. So these are your ideas. The first one, yes, it's relevant and it's specific. Varied norms of life, I don't understand that point. So the norms of life is a phrase that I don't understand. So your idea might be okay, but there's a vocab problem and I don't understand what you're trying to say. So your first idea, yes, your first idea is suitable. Your second idea, no, we're going to have to change that vocabulary. So if you want to rewrite it and send it to me again, I can look at it. And then for everyone else, just continue with this. What main ideas do you want to use? Oh, as well as this, actually, sorry, Cheryl, you haven't said whether you agreed or disagreed. So that's going to be important. Like at first, I thought you were writing a paraphrase, and now I can see you have your main ideas in there. So now I know it's supposed to be the main ideas, but without saying which opinion you have, it's not. I can guess. I can guess that you're trying to say that the cities are better, but without saying that you disagree, it's not clear why you're telling me why you're giving me those ideas. Hi, Jawad. Good to see you here. Initially, the countryside life is less polluted and the amount of noise there is limited. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, but I'm going to give a more specific type of pollution. Okay, so Mirabelle, you're on Facebook. So let me just copy that. And again, Mirabelle, you haven't given me which side you're taking. So I know it's clear. It's clear from what you've said, but we just want to make it clear. So when it says to what extent do you agree or disagree, start with that part. So we're going to say, I completely agree with this idea because, let's say, the countryside's life. So it's not really that the life is less polluted, but there's something. So what type of pollution? Let's say air pollution. Less air pollution. And the amount of noise, and there is less noise. So that there is our introduction finished in record time. I think this is, I've been doing these live streams for a long time. I think this is the fastest we've ever written an introduction. So that's good news. Okay. And that brings us to our next paragraph. So next, we need to write a paragraph about the first idea. So our paragraph is going to have to be about 100 words. Because, let me change that. Let's say opinion sounds better than idea. Countryside has less air pollution. That doesn't sound great, to be honest. There is less air pollution in countryside. That's more accurate. So we're looking at this first idea. There is less air pollution in the countryside. And our first body paragraph is going to be about this idea. So we're going to have to write about 100 words developing this idea. So we're going to explain, give examples. So that's what I want you to do next. I want you to tell me, how can we develop this idea about there being less air pollution in the countryside? Okay. Living in rural area contributes to child's health as the air in those places is less polluted. Good. So same idea again. Yep. Hi, Domenico. Welcome. Children who are raised in the countryside are more likely to be mentally stable because the life there is less hectic. Thus, children will have fewer stress factors. Okay. I would say you're probably including too much at the moment. So here you're saying that it contributes to child's health as the air in those places is less polluted. So maybe your main idea is just it's better for the child's health. And then later on, this extra information about the air being less polluted, you would talk about that in your paragraph. So when we're putting our main ideas in the introduction, we don't want to explain them yet, just say what the main idea is. So here you're either going to say it's healthier for the children, or there's less air pollution. Just one of those things is fine. And then with this, we're looking at the same thing. So you're going to say the children are more mentally stable. Perfect. Or you would say the children are less stressed, or one of those things. So not that I'm not critiquing your points. Your points are very good, but when it comes to writing your introduction, just keep it to the bare minimum, just the exact idea. And then later on, when we're writing the body paragraphs, like we're looking at for this idea here, we'll include all of that information later. So kind of, it's not bad to have that information in your head or in your essay plan, even better, but it wouldn't go into the introduction. Okay, so Sammy, countrysides have cleaner, less polluted air. This is because there are no industries and traffic congestion as compared to fast-paced city lives. You would just say fast-paced cities. Okay, so that's a good start. We can definitely start with that. So let me just copy that from Facebook. Okay. Rather than industries, I'm just going to say factories. I think it's clear if we're talking about where the air pollution is coming from. So there are fewer. Rather than just saying less traffic congestion. So that traffic congestion is more, I realize the cars are sitting in the same place for a long time, but just in general, there's less traffic. So the traffic congestion, I get your point. If somebody could drive quickly, of course, that would be less pollution than somebody sitting in the car for a long time. But just in general, that there's less traffic. Okay, so I have spelling mistake. I have two reasons why there is less pollution in the countryside. So now I want to give an example, or perhaps I could talk about how or why that's better for the children. We need more. We're not finished yet. So at the moment we have, let me just see the word count. 62. So we need about another 40 words to finish this paragraph. So let's just stay looking at the comments for now, and we'll see who else has extra to add there. Cheryl, children are exposed to different cultures and varied norms of life, such as parents being busy and spending time with family doing. So that's not relevant. So that's you're gone off. I realize you're going with your original ideas, and that's completely. I appreciate why you're doing that, but for the sake of this lesson, you know, to keep all of us focused on the same thing, we're just going to work with the ideas on the screen right here, because if everybody is doing different things, then we're not going to kind of progress through the lesson as easily together. So let's just focus on this idea. There's less air pollution in the countryside. And how can we finish this? Are we going to give an example? Are we going to talk about the outcome? What are we going to include here? About another 40 words. How are we going to finish this paragraph? Domenico, some individuals argue that raising children in rural areas is better than bringing them up in metropolitan areas. Good. However, I partially agree with this statement because while they can derive several... so to partially agree is fine. There's nothing wrong with partially agreeing if you do it properly, but it's more difficult. And one of the requirements for a band 7 is that your opinion is clear throughout your essay. So if it ever becomes unclear as to why you partially agree, or you know, at some point you make it sound like you disagree with one, and like there are more moving parts and it's easier to make a small mistake, that means your opinion isn't completely clear from start to finish. So it's not wrong to say you partially agree, it's just more challenging to get a good score. It's more challenging to avoid mistakes that can bring down your score. Okay, good. First reason why I agree with raising children in countryside is that urban areas have less hazardous air, less polluted air. This is because there are more trees which absorb the dangerous gases in the air and results in a cleaner atmosphere. Okay. Yeah. So we could talk about the trees in the countryside as well. I don't want to go into that. I've already kind of given two reasons why. Like, you know, no pollution from factories, no pollution from cars. And then if I'm giving more reasons why the air is less polluted, then it feels like I'm making a list of reasons. So I prefer to kind of develop the idea. I prefer to continue developing the idea, but in a different way, rather than just like, here are 5 reasons why the air is better. That feels like we're not developing it to the same way as if we kind of move forward with our idea and show you know, the benefits of that, or an example of that, or whatever it would be. Rural areas tend to have less air pollution as the air quality there is far better, being cleaner without any harmful emissions, which are often produced by large-scale factories in urban areas. Yep, very good. This ensures that the children grow up breathing healthy air and develop less respiratory issues than children breathing toxic, polluted air. Very good. I like this. This is exactly what I'm looking for, Sammy. Good. Okay, so let me take Sammy's little text there, and we'll add that to what we have. That should be enough for that paragraph. Okay, so that's going to finish our paragraph here. This ensures that the children grow up breathing healthy air and develop less respiratory issues than children breathing toxic, than the children who have who live in cities and have to breathe toxic, polluted air. Very good. Full stop. Okay, so what's that then? That must be nearly 100. It looks long enough. Word count 91. That's fine. So, it's not exactly 100. We're aiming for about 100. So sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but that's a fully developed idea. That's perfect. Okay, so that means we are finished with our first idea. That's done, and we're moving on to there is less noise. Okay, so the same question, how can we develop this idea? So we're moving on to the second body paragraph where we're going to talk about there is less noise. So in the same way, I want you to share with me in the comments how you're going to develop that idea. On the other hand, the countryside's life has a slower pace and is more relaxed than the city. Yeah, so I would say that would be fine. But is that one idea or is that two ideas? It has a slower pace and it's more relaxed. Those feel like synonyms to me. It feels like you're saying the same thing twice. So, and this isn't really something that the examiner is looking for, but it is something that I teach my students is if you have the word and, so if this, it depends. You might think this is two ideas. If it's two ideas, I'd say it's too similar and you should only use one. But if you think that's one idea, slower pace and more relaxed, if you think that's one idea, when you see the word and in the middle of your idea, it kind of gives you a little kind of a reason to be cautious. It's like, why do you need two ideas? Or why do you need the word and? Do you need the word and because it's two ideas? Well, if it's two ideas and you think it's one, then remove one side. Or if it's not two ideas, if it's only one idea, which I think is the case here, if it's only one idea, well, why do you need to say it twice? So if you want to say it's slower pace and you want to say it's relaxed, if that's the same thing, we don't need to say it twice. So in whatever circumstance, if you think it's one idea and you have the word and, there's something to be aware of. Either you're repeating yourself or it's not one idea. And by removing one half, like whatever, this side next to and or the other side at the other side of and, by removing one of those, you'll be more confident that it's definitely one idea and that you're definitely not repeating yourself. So if you see the word and in your main idea, be careful with that. Okay, Sherelle, children being brought up in the countryside have stronger sense of belongingness in their community, which makes them perform well while working in bigger groups to set out their career. Yep. So not relevant to our essay, but definitely relevant to the question. Yep. Ahmed, what if I completely disagree with the other view, but write about it in my second paragraph just to refute it? Would that be possible? Yeah, that's fine. So but we're kind of doing that anyway. Like if we're saying that the countryside is better because there is less air pollution, if you're going to say the countryside isn't better, or sorry, if you're going to say the city is not better because there's more air pollution, we're still making the same comparison. So yeah, you can definitely write about why the city is bad if you want to say you disagree. If you want to say you agree, you can write about why the city is bad. If you want to say you disagree, you can write about why the countryside is bad. So either way, so you want to say you disagree, you can talk about the city being good or the countryside being bad. And in our essay here, the same thing. We can focus on why the city isn't good, or we can focus on why the countryside is good. Either way is fine. Either way is fine. You're still supporting your ideas. From my personal perspective, raising children in urban areas has the potential to bring positive benefits in regard to amenities and social life as they grow up. Yep, those would definitely be relevant and specific ideas, so they're appropriate. What can be the synonym for countryside and cities? Urban and rural areas would be the obvious one. But again, you're only going to, if you don't know a synonym, then the solution is you copy the word from the question. And if you have to have the word countryside 10 times in your essay because you don't know another word, but that's the right thing to do. So, if you don't know a synonym while you're writing the essay, then continue using the same word. But if you're not confident in your range of vocab, well, then you need to start studying vocabulary. So figure out, apply both of those. When you're writing your essay, you cannot pretend to know a synonym. You can't use a synonym if you don't know it. So yeah, continue using the word that you need to use when you're writing, but you can always improve your vocab by studying. Domenico, sir, my idea is more connected to where I grew up, because while I enjoyed being raised in a less contaminated environment, attending school was a real struggle. Absolutely, and it's not going to be the same for everybody. Like there are places where the education won't be as good in the countryside, so living in a city is a much better option. There are places where the cities have maybe more crime in the cities, so it's safer in the countryside. So it's going to be like the answer to this question is going to be different depending on where you come from and what the cities are like where you live, and what the countryside is like where you live. But that won't make your answer irrelevant. Like we could have one person from one country saying city life is better because it's safer, and we could have someone from another country saying countryside life is better because it's safer. So they're both saying the opposite thing, but they both make sense, and for different people they will be appropriate. So there's no need, you don't need to write about whether the living in the countryside is better in my country. You just need to write about whether it's better in your country, and for whatever reasons you would have. So yeah, that's absolutely no problem, Domenico. Hatun, moreover, in the countryside there's less traffic than the city. Yeah, good. Children benefit from the serene environment in which they study. Good. Another reason why raising children in the countryside is a better option than cities is because there is less noise owing up to more open space, lesser people, and fewer institutions around. Less noise provides a calm environment for children to concentrate better. Yeah, good. This is good. So you're really pushing the lesson along today, Sammy. Lots of good stuff coming from you. So again, let me copy Sammy's work and add it to the page, to the document on screen. So this is our third paragraph. And okay. And starting with a cohesive device. Good. Another reason why raising children in the countryside is a better option than cities is because there is less noise. Let's say due to more open spaces. Let's say due to these places being less crowded. And having fewer institutions, fewer businesses, maybe. Something like that. Less noise provides a calm environment for children to concentrate better on their studies. This just to connect it more, just to make a stronger connection between what we said previously and this one. So it's less noise, but let's say like this: lack of noise provides a calm environment for children to concentrate better on their studies. Okay, very good, Sammy. Looking good. So that's 47 words. So we're about halfway there. We need more development for this paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'll just make this stuff a bit smaller so we can focus more on the paragraph that we're looking at here. Okay, so now we can see the question and the paragraph. So the question we're working on and the paragraph that we're working on. So we need to finish this paragraph. It's about halfway done. We've got about 50 words. We need another 50 words or so. So continue from there. How can we finish this paragraph? Okay. Domenico, what's the reason I partially agree with the statement? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. As long as you can explain it clearly, as long as what you're saying is clear from start to finish, it's not an issue. But when you completely agree or you completely disagree, you have the benefit of being automatically clear from start to finish, because your opinion is very simple, and therefore the clarity will be much easier to maintain. Ahmad, what if I think that people who live in the countryside are notoriously known for being aloof and stingy? Would that be considered too subjective and not really academic? You're entitled to your opinion, and as long as it makes sense and it's relevant and it's specific. So your ideas have to be relevant and specific. That's it. Aloof and stingy, the words themselves are informal. So can you use the ideas? Yes. Can you use the vocabulary? No. So you'll have to find formal words to describe those things. So yes, you can use the ideas, but not the specific vocab you've used to describe them. So let's say instead of saying stingy, you might say that they are what's the nice way to say stingy? Maybe say they're not generous. They tend not to be generous with others. Yeah, you definitely can. You definitely can use those ideas. You don't need to be diplomatic. You don't need to write something that the examiner would agree with. You can say whatever you want, but you cannot use informal vocab. The other thing then, Ahmad, is those ideas might be difficult to develop. Trying to explain why that happens. So yeah, you can, but also make sure that you're choosing ideas that will be easy to develop. If you're choosing the most complicated idea, you're going to make it more difficult for yourself. The countryside normally has less noise distractions compared to the city, which might be beneficial for children in regards to their mental and physical health. Good. As the lack of noise enables them to avoid distractions, resulting in better concentration span. Miser, no, not that either. For instance, so sorry, just to go back to this student, your ideas are good. This is all suitable. This is good writing. I can't add it to the document because we've already kind of brought ourselves in a direction. But yeah, if I hadn't added Sammy's to the screen already, I'd definitely be adding this. This is all very good. Too short, it's not fully developed, but no, it's good. For instance, most of the students living in cities prefer going to libraries to study because of the noisy surroundings, whereas children living in the countryside are less distracted and study at home. Oh, fantastic. You're doing great today, Sammy. This is really good. Really good stuff. Okay, so let me just take what's left of Sammy's here. And add it to what we have. And that should be enough. Let me just check the word count there. 80, a little bit short. Okay. For instance, most of the students living in cities prefer going to libraries to study. Let's say instead of saying they prefer, let's say they must. Make it stronger. They must go to libraries to study because of the noisy surroundings, whereas children living in the countryside are less distracted. Are less distracted, but they're not less. They have less noise. So let's say aren't exposed to the same levels of noise, so can study at home. Okay, very nice. All right, so that is pretty much our full essay done. We just need to write the conclusion. So I'm going to write the conclusion here. So I say up here? I said I completely, so I'm going to say I firmly agree. I firmly agree that it's best for children to love countryside because they have benefits of cleaner air and less noise pollution. And that there is our essay. As I said, the essay is somewhat short in that our paragraphs weren't fully developed, so we would need a little bit more there. So we wouldn't be getting a band 9 for that essay, but it is a very, very strong essay. So overall, we have written 246 words. I'd like a bit more on the body paragraphs. I'd like a bit longer on the body paragraphs. But having said that, that's really, really well done there today. Like I said, we normally don't get through the introduction for 20, 25 minutes in these lessons. So it was really good. Very well done today from everybody. And I think that's pretty much it for today. If you have... excuse me now, let me turn that off. If you're joining me for the free live feedback lessons tomorrow, remember to sign up with the link in the video description. So those lessons are on Zoom. We'll be focusing on some part of the IELTS test. You'll see, I can't remember, but you'll see the schedule when you log in, and you'll see the Zoom links to join me and the times. English with Babbly. Does this argument that for children's growth instead of a city, countries is a good place hold any logic, considering not only having less facilities, but also having far from cities? I find considering not only have less facilities, also I find the aforementioned statement to be logic flawed. Maybe where you live, maybe where you live. So we don't need everybody to agree. We don't need everybody to agree with our opinion. We just needed our ideas to be relevant and specific. So you're saying you think I'm wrong. Completely fine. You can have other reasons why you think that the city is a better place to live. Completely fine. As long as your essay has relevant, specific ideas supporting your opinion, you're good. So, of course, and even in the question itself, it says some people believe it, meaning other people don't. Do you agree or disagree? So you're showing why you think your opinion. So there's no reason for you to agree with me. As long as I have two main ideas to support my opinion, you can have the opposite opinion, have two main ideas to support your opinion. The examiner doesn't need to agree with you, no problem. So as long as you follow that, you will be able to get a good score. What's the score for this? We would get a very good score. We definitely get a band 8. The development of the ideas isn't enough. So we wouldn't be able to get a band 9 for this. But, I've corrected all the vocab. I've corrected all the grammar. All the ideas are relevant and specific. We've developed them appropriately. Not enough. The essay is a bit short. But besides that, everything's really strong. So definitely an 8. Yeah. Thank you, Mirabelle. Why is it better to use must instead of prefer? Because if we say prefer means they can study from home if they want, but they like it more. Whereas if we're saying we must, we're saying that, the noise is so bad, they have no choice. So we're making it stronger, and a stronger argument about why the countryside is a better place for children to grow up. All people, the whole population, etc. Better for you? No, that's not necessarily the case. I've never heard that word before. Is that a word for what you say, stingy? It's like go with words that people would use more regularly. So as I did use any synonyms, is it wrong or correct way? I'm not sure. But like I said, if you're not using synonyms, if you know a synonym, you should use it. If you don't know a synonym, then do what you can best. Thank you so much, sir. I want to score 8.5. You're definitely on your way. There were vocab and grammar mistakes that I had to correct for you along the way there, Sammy. So that's going to be something for you to consider before you'll be able to get an 8.5. But definitely you're really good at coming up with relevant ideas, specific ideas, developing your ideas appropriately. Your language is very, very good. but you're going to have to improve your vocab and grammar a bit further. Sorry, is it in new Sims? Okay. Hello from Cambodia. Hello to you. Welcome. But we're just finishing up there. So that's it for today. If any of you are looking for one-on-one support, send me an email. We can talk about that. My time is quite limited at the moment, though, so I won't be taking many students on, probably till maybe July or so. Okay, so that's it for today. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and see you tomorrow if you're joining me for the live feedback lesson on Zoom. Take care.